everyone, welcome back to Watch here, and it's about time for another episode of Dies Irae. Let's continue our interview with Kaziklu Bey, and it's going to be an exciting episode because Reinhardt just catched up to Methuselah or to Louis, whatever we want to call him, and yeah, it seems like it's going to be darkness versus destruction and death. Great, let's go. Let us begin the battle. Let's do this. Of course. His refined tone contained not a hint of barbarism. The difference between him and the blood-loving berserker was far too obvious. So, 1 second. Okay, better. Just as he claimed, he would be granting nothing but love. To him, death and destruction were naught but synonymous. Therefore, he had no fear or hesitation. Hegemon that he was, he would merely follow his overflowing passion and destroy all there was. As for those celebrating that fact, the magician at his side lightly nodded.
彼は私にとって古き友だ。せめてその生涯に光となる滅びの花を咲かせてほしい。とはいえ、油断めさるなよ。率直に申し上げて、これまでとは格が違う。概念としては想像より半歩上の領域だ。あなたはこの城を3ヶ月近く展開している状態だが、あちらは確かなところでも3万年は続いている。
Jesus. Okay. Even Mercurius is warning Reinhardt about this guy. Okay. So he's like what Reinhardt was in, I think, Sakurai Road, I believe, like 3. No, wait. Isaac is in like 3.5, right? If I'm correct. So Methuselah is kinda on this level, like 3.5. Okay. And yeah, like he's been activated for like 30,000 years. So
自らの意志でそうなったわけでもないようゆえ、単純な比較はできんがね。よって私から助言できることもさほどないが。
Oh?
あれは愚道か、それとも波動か。
Reinhardt cut his friend's words short and spoke what he wanted to know. The entity of night and dark seems to possess qualities from both of those paradigms, or perhaps this was better to see it as unlike either of those. The fact that it encroached with the setting sun made it seem like hegemony, but its territory was more or less the same size at all times, which was closer to transcendence. On the other hand, when exposed to the law of light, it easily backed away and opened the path. Transcendence was too obstinate and hegemony was too aggressive to spot such a quality. The word primeval seems highly fitting, as it seems akin to the primal chaos in how it danced around definition, as though acknowledging that, Mercurius formed an implicative smile. Okay. His power is special. I mean, we do have like special cases in the LDO, right? I mean, he's like extremely special, but we do have like neither hegemony nor transcendence in the LDOs, right? If I'm correct. Like Trifa is the one, right? He's like special case. Okay. The magician raised a finger and whispered as if cursing the dark. Okay.
すべてを力技で消し飛ばすか。なるほど。大方理解した。あるいはここで
私の全力が出せるのならばそれでよい。できずとも。
Even if not, it's going to be close, huh? He cut his words short and raised a hand before continuing as though to inspire the army waiting behind him.
果てにさらなる戦が約束されていると信じよう。期待しているぞ、カール。
Oh yeah, there is going to be a huge battle in the future. The two looked at each other and grinned before.
総員、失義。
Reinhardt lowered his hand. With an erupting fighting spirit, the Legion of Gold let out a war cry. Thus began a battle that would decide the outcome of another great war. That's cool. Ah, the art style in interview is awesome. Oh, what is that? We'll see. The rainy hymn of strife rose the hell to overflow and rushed towards their great foe. The dead that made up the mystic castle began separating from it and rushed at Ludwig like an avalanche. Oh, it's a plane. Okay. Oh. Right. There was a lot of infantry, but that certainly wasn't all. There were tanks, fighter aircrafts, and even battleships, as well, none of which case function merely because they were in the middle. The limitless flood of undead formed a vast river, while the fighters flew as they were created to. The other war machines charged at the enemy while crushing their own army. As though to assess their position as the final supreme arcane, they created a nightmarish sight as they advanced into the dark divinity. This is sick. Like, Jesus, like he's like sending tanks and like people are like making a road for them. This is like Reinhardt power is sick. I mean, it's been kinda like described like this before, but now we have like, I don't know, like more straightforward description of like what is happening like in the midair. The sight trampled over all common sense, and the mystic battle that would follow would surely exceed the logic and limitations of reality. As unnatural as it was, however, it was still a war, and as such, it obeyed certain relevant philosophies. One of them was the fact that the ones acting as vanguards were always a daylight. Schreiber face, Jesus. Using the river of corpses as his trail, Wolfgang Schreiber dashed as he let out a maddened howl. As the one who boasted the greatest speed, Albert surged ahead of everyone else as though it was his privilege. He was followed by Machina and batteries, creating a vanguard lineup to no one could find fault with. This was proven by their abject lack of negligence. They were all out from get-go. Schreiber's speed grew higher and higher until it became 1,000 times greater than the speed of sound and beyond. Not a soul in the world was capable of catching up to him. Even if he faced light instead of dark, he would break the laws of the world and outspeed even that. That was the nature of the beast's craving, and it was now unleashed. Yeah, like, this guy is like... I know he's been defeated, like, in Dies Irae multiple times, but I'm still having, like, troubles of, like... they seriously, like, for this guy, they need, like, serious, like plot armor, like... Jesus, like, he's, like, craving is just, like, unbeatable. Like, what the fuck? This is the only craving that I feel like... I don't know, like, even time stopping feels like... relatively normal, I would say. You know, like being always faster than anything, it's like it's just ridiculous. Like without like stopping time entirely, like you can do nothing. Like time stop is like kind of cheat, but this is also cheat, but like a little bit lower level. He was the fastest. No one could catch him. The infamous wolf became a peerless shooting star that pierced Ludwig. What? Yeah, he's scattered. Methuselah remained unfazed, even the hole Schreiber has punched through his chest quickly closed. No, the description was of Mark. After all, this entity had no physical body. Oh my god. Methuselah is like... yeah, it's like, sure, you're fast, but how can you hit darkness? Yeah, that's a problem. Still, Schreiber is like one of the top powers, like Jesus. Remember times when Sakurai booted up her formation and we thought like, Jesus, that's so cool and strong. These were the times. In early Dies Irae, these were the times. Yep, here's the stopping. Schreiber continued attacking even as Ludwig talked. During his creation figment, the beast was too maddened to hold a proper conversation. He wished to be faster, to outspeed anything, no matter the cost. He sought to achieve velocity that would make him absolutely untouchable. That was what he'd wished for his entire life, and was his only weapon. By relying on his unmatched speed, he gave his all to gouge, cleave and tear his enemies apart. Uh-huh. That was exactly what was happening to Ludwig, but all the ones he was dealt instantly regenerated, which many would think impossible. After all, the creation figment created a rule. It was a power that made one's ideal pulverize all common sense. So obvious ideas such as indestructibility of darkness shouldn't have applied to Schreiber. Huh. I guess, yeah, you need Briach to destroy Briach, but Methuselah is like a little higher level, so I guess that's why it's not having an effect. In fact, Albedo might have actually been damaging him, but... okay. His scale was too vast, his history too dense, meaning that Schreiber severely lacked the firepower to damage him. And so, by no means did that make it fair to assume Schreiber was weak. A single knight was as large as half of the world, and Methuselah had accumulated countless number of them. No matter how quick the fang, there was a limit in the area it could tear. Yes, indeed, there was no denying that Albedo's attacks were akin to ants to him. Oh. There we go, lightning bolt. Similar to Schreiber, but it's generating light, so it can possibly deal a little bit more damage, because, you know, we disperse the darkness in like a little bit higher area. It's still a little, but... what was there to do then? The answer, it took to the form of the second vanguard. As like, Schreiber is going to like one of my favorite powers, I would say, like in like Evicates and stuff. Maybe not favorite, right? But like one of my favorites. Battery is like craving, and why her Briach is what she it is. It's my one of my favorites as well. Like her whole reason of becoming a lightning bolt, basically becoming the star, the light that will like others will follow and stuff. Hill's batteries, she dashed while bearing speed second only to Schreiber's, as her body was gradually surrounded by lightning. There was more to come, however. Yep, and that's just a big explosion, big as explosion, yep. Honor was supporting her subordinate from behind. Next to her, there was a so-called railway gun, fully operational, it releasing a humming sound akin to a growl.
ならばいかなる花嫁にも劣らぬように最愛の炎を汝に送ろう我が槍を恐れるならばこの炎を越すこと許さぬ
Nice. Her blade, body, soul, it all became the lightning of the war god. It was a rule she'd craved and prayed for so that she could shine upon the darkest battlefields, yep. And this is so cool, I just love this craving that she has. This is just... I love the episode when we learned that. That was in Sakurai Road, I believe, as well. She wanted to make sure none of her comrades would lose their way under the smoke-filled bloody sky. She wanted to help her beloved superior's ideal shine brilliantly. She wished to become the dark rendering Flash, a battle maiden who would lead the heroes to glory, to Valhalla. That pure-hearted prayer of hers was her ward, riding the fire from the railway gun behind her. Beatrice Kirchheis and made her transcendence shine. Okay. We have combo attack here. Jesus. I love the lightning that we had here. The dark wasn't something you crushed. It was something you banished. Just an explosion of light could sure diminish the darkness. Lightning and fire bloom and dance in the air, beautifully tearing when to slay a kingdom asunder. Oh! Hello, ancient Mercurius language! Oh, okay, so we at least know that... Yeah, like... Mercurius said like 30,000 years, Mercurius is older than that, I guess. But they both know the same language, it seems. Yeah, from some ancient times. Okay, we're going to this. Okay. However, light and dark were but two sides of the same coin. The stronger the light, the deeper the darkness. Yeah, that's the problem. Sure, but at the same time, if you have enough light, you can, like, from like all the directions, you can banish darkness. There will be no darkness. I mean, there's never no darkness because, like, behind the lamps or whatever, there will be darkness somewhere. But, like, light should be stronger in general. But yeah, and as general concept, yeah, the more light, the more darkness. Yeah, guess so. They heard a sound akin to something crawling out of the ground. Fittingly, it came from below. Oh? Just like what happened with Gladsheim Roar. They were hit by their very own powers. Oh! Here directed it, okay. Again. Torrents of lightning and blaze burn hundreds of the castle's legions. Nice. Beatrice seems to have expected the smash, so she was able to evade just in time. Same went for Schreiber. As she gritted her teeth in frustration, Ludwig appeared before them, looking as though nothing had happened to him. United infantry volley fire, piercing bayonet stabs, fiery tank and battleship shelling. None of it seemed to work. Okay. Even after the Messerschmitt formation drowned him in machine gun fire, Junkers Ju-88s repeatedly bombed him alongside Henkel HE 111S. Jesus, I'm going to learn so many, like, World War II, like, machines. Jesus. Darkness remained supreme. Nothing they tried had any effect on him.
だから 私は言ったのだ。無駄な真似をさせるなよ。なるべくならクラウディアを悲しませることはしたくないのだ。彼女は清い女性だから、たとえどのような下道であっても。
As Luke spoke, his unwillingness to fight, his tone grew dense with the resignation. He had already given them his last warning, and was fully aware that adding anything more to it would change nothing, and ever laced Beatrice and Reinhardt would continue to this fight no matter what.
戦で身を立てようとする輩はいつの時代も理解に苦しむ。お前たちは戦乱を闇と言い、それを制す栄光とやらの虜だが、順序を顧みたことがないのだろう。
Actually, you have it wrong, Methuselah. I don't think Reinhardt considers war as darkness. Like, for him, it's basically light. He likes that. Yeah, that's kind of the other way around.
はじめに闇ありきではない。妙理を求めるお前たちの船舶さこそが死山決我を築いているのだ。
According to many warriors through the ages, heroes always try to become the light that punishes the chaotic darkness, but Ludwig claimed that it was the other way around. Dark never gave birth to light after all, so the ones who were bringing the wars were none other than the fools who were baited by the light of glory. They went to shine so much they plotted on the designed a fitting stage. The world sank into darkness. And yet, they failed to realize that their very warped light had created the darkness just as distorted.
そんなものは醜い自作自演の陶酔だ。破壊の愛だと。なるほど。確かに壊れているな。本来善も悪もないものに、お前たちが欺瞞を施してきた結果をこれから教えてやろう。
There's a lot of mouths that's trying to eat stuff. Okay. Suddenly, the night around Methuselah became heavier, and there were visible differences into the darkness surrounding him. The sharpness appeared by the darker hue were akin to fangs of beasts.
私は醜くなってしまう。お前たちがそう望んだのだ。私は怖く、獰猛であれと。
The ones who defined the dark as something detestable were humans. Their instincts told them to fear it, and thus it became synonymous with dread. War, calamity, madness, death. All of that was evil and menacing. In a sense, those things were akin to the mankind's predators. Thus, Ludwig was an amalgam of all phenomena that ravaged mankind. He had nearly countless means of murder, both physical and mental. The reason he hadn't launched many attacks so far was surely because he hated the way he was. He felt as though he'd been defiled, lamented the fact that the darkness, neither evil nor good at its core, had become such a ravenous poison. Therefore he found showing such a sides of him to be unbearable. Just like when he donned the skin of the vampire, so he did not do so willingly. Still, given the situation, there was no room for such restraint. Yeah, you kinda have to fight now. I mean, kinda he can just ignore them. I mean, he's kinda untouchable. Right?
闇の何たるかをわからん者は虚無も同じだ。
Jesus. The horde of Joes that spawned behind him gnawed loudly as they charged towards Gladsheim. War for a war. It was as if he was showing the folly in their logic. Beatrice responded by further enhancing her body. The body turned lightning, intercepting the enemy, no matter how menacing its form. The dark was still the dark. None of those claws or fangs could reach her if she merely shone brilliantly enough. That logic was sound. However, it is only truly applied when the scale is the same on both sides. Okay. So it's way too dark. I guess like if I guess because like dark colors can, they're not as good as like reflecting light as other surfaces, so I guess yeah, like it's dark enough, it cannot be really lightened. I don't know if you saw like this like the paint and stuff like this. There's like some really dark materials that basically, however like bright the day is, that and it's like you're like shining like something on this, like it's still like pitch black. You just cannot light it up. It's like taking in like 99% of visible light, and it's like freaking insane. This is actually cool. So I guess this is the same principle here. Just too dark. Lighting was eroded, painted over by the dominion of darkness. Soulful as it was, her light wasn't enough to make the encroaching just fade. Encroaching. This was all because each and every one of Ludwig's fangs had 100 days worth of darkness compressed in them. The density of the phenomenon was a different level. After all, no one shut away in the cavern could light up the outside by merely turning on a light bulb. Makes sense. And due to similar logic, Beatrice and her light were crushed. Jesus! She screamed and released a splash of blood. Though she'd avoided direct heat, the darkness had taken her entire left arm. And it didn't end there. What? They grew back Beatrice's arm because she had both in Dies Irae. What the hell? The Legion of the Night continued to push forward. Freiber was able to avoid them all, but the Battle Maiden, being already damaged, was incapable of fighting back. If she was swept away by the second wave of darkness, her light would be extinguished, and not even her bones would remain. Okay. Eleanor tried to support her with more artillery fire, but alas, that was enough. It was like a darkness, which soon devoured Beatrice's Hall. Okay. Samuel, it's time for your third degree. Trap this guy inside the cannon, just shoot. Have a right before that happened? I don't think you can hit the darkness, though. Yes, like this guy can probably kill Methuselah if you think about it, because like he's denying all concepts with Deus Ex Machina. But he have to hit first. That's the problem. I don't think like even he can bend so many years of darkness compressed. I don't think even he can do this. Something the rod of iron interfered. It pulverized the fangs of dark in the single hit, making the curtain fall upon them. Never mind. That was the feast. That was the first win of Gladsame's side, but Hope's situation was changed through the power of a single man. Grimacing in pain, Beatrice looked up at his back. He didn't say anything, but he was, without a doubt, standing there with the majesty of a champion. Machina's so fucking cool. He'd forgotten his name and desired only to die into the greatest of battlefields, and that was what made him the manifestation of death, or rather the end, that he was. His craving was to make the curtain fall on his Vansulga saga, and its effect as a power was to end all phenomena regardless of whether they had shape or not. Even regardless, I mean, okay, maybe he can actually beat the darkness. I mean, if you think about this, it was said that he can just like single-handed Reinhardt as well, right? Well, he cannot because he would have to like deal with like infinite soldiers, so he cannot like break through to Reinhardt, but he can actually kill Reinhardt. So I guess it's going to be similar situation here. Like he can potentially kill Methuselah, but he will not be able to just like break through all the darkness that is like in between them. It's going to be too slow of the process. Any story with any sort of history will have an ending, and his Deus Ex Machina instantaneously and forcefully moved the story to the conclusion. Not only could it affect living beings and buildings, it could also end fire, lightning, and even thoughts and concepts. Being struck by his punch and having your history ended, and not even the dark divinity was an exception. A single punch would shatter him and make him vanish. Yeah. Don't get hit, basically. Like every single person in Dies Irae, outside of Prem powered up by Mari, because just before the end comes, they just stop time, and yeah, that never comes to conclusion. So yeah, that's a hard counter for him, but everyone else, yeah, don't get hit. Not excited in both wonder and shock, as he instantly understood the nature of Machina's power. Since death was mankind's greatest darkness, it wasn't difficult for him to realize. Are you going to talk no jutsu him? Yeah. His voice was silent, as his answer was constant and clear. He hadn't a single hint of doubt regarding himself. If he would only pulverize the concept of personified nature, Ludwig would simply lose his arcane and return to mere darkness like the rest of his kin. That would be an appropriate conclusion, but Machina fists would surely go beyond that. He would certainly end the very existence of darkness itself. Jesus! Yeah, that's a bad idea, actually. It didn't take much to know how badly that would damage the worldly order. And yet, the man wasn't concerned about the interest in that whatsoever. I didn't thought about this, yeah. Don't let Machina hit Methuselah, Jesus! I didn't thought about that.
だからどうした？俺に砕かれるものならばいつか終わるものなのだろう。ならば今消えて何の不都合があるという。
Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. The man was dead to begin with. Since all the creation would eventually return to nothingness, he had no qualms about creating the void, and that was all the very reason why he was the transcendence of the ending. Okay. Oh, what is that? Okay, new trick. Some kind of force field or something? What is that? The darkness surrounding Ludwig underwent another huge change. It was different than the last one because of its numbers and regularity. Okay. If the first attack was an onslaught of beasts, this was far more like a line of troops standing ready to fire. In the sky there was geometrical pattern of unmatched accuracy. Standing in front of it, Methuselah continued. Okay, yep, the random Mercurius ancient language thing.
つまりお前のようなものには何の値打ちもないのだよ。消えて不都合がない存在とは要するにお前だな、黒騎士よ。
Suddenly, the elaborate muzzle behind him fired a single gathering of darkness. It burst right before Machina's eyes, becoming spherical and crazing him. then began to shrink with the purpose of crushing him. Of course, Machina wouldn't have been Nigredo if he was incapable of handling such a tripling attack. Okay. His all-shattering piece pulverized the dark prison. It was an obvious result, and Ludwig had expected it. And exactly because he knew this would happen, he didn't end it here. More of them? Okay. Soon came the second one, then third, fourth, fifth, etc. Like Caesar's gunfire, the darkness shrouded him completely. The machina was shattering each and every one of them. The number of spheres greatly outmatched the speed at which he could swing his fists. Okay, so he's just overcoming him with number of attacks. So it's similar principle to what I said before and what they said in Dies Irae. Like, he could kill Reinhardt, but basically Machina says like he cannot, because he would have to like deal with like, you know, bunch of skeletons and the whole legion beforehand, and he's just too slow to do this, right? Like, he can end everything, but he cannot reach the target, right? His situation was equivalent of being continuously enclosed by the countless paper-thin walls. He could easily break them, and he was incapable of ending all the separate spheres simultaneously. If Schreiber's weakness against Ludwig was his lack of destructive ability, Machina's weakness was the limit of his speed. Everyone watched, dumbfounded, as he was sectioned off by the pitch-black spheres of darkness that showed no sign of ending. There were hundreds, thousands of them. None there could count them, but the firing was done in only about 10 seconds. Jesus!
50万だ。1400年に相当する。お前には与えよう。
Wow. Also, that's as big about Nigredo if you think about this. He just used like 500,000 knights, time, whatever, like, will like do with this metrics for Nigredo, and he's like 30,000 years old, so that's pretty significant amount to trap one person. Machina was probably still fighting within the dark engulfing him, but no one on the outside world could know his state.
その一つ一つに食われぬまま自慢の幕引きを続けられるか。
Machina basically had to throw 500,000 Deus Ex Machinas, and he had to do it while surrounded by a crushing darkness, unaware of which was the way up, down, left or right. He could easily shatter all of the many condensed nights simultaneously by simply landing a hit on their origin, Methuselah. But that was exactly why Ludwig discarded the necessary amount of darkness. Just as he'd said, it was the millennium in the 400 years worth of nights. 500,000. As such, Machina had no choice but to destroy them separately.
数日か。
That was smart from him.
数時間で突破。
I didn't expect him to be able to do that.
しかし私は知っているぞ。お前たちのそれは長続きせんのだろう。水銀の薫陶を受けたとはいえ。
That is also a good point.
一人の意志でいつまでも異界を持続することを。
They are limited by souls. So, for how long basically Machina can maintain his Briach and Deus Ex Machina when his souls he accumulated will be extinguished, basically. He's using them to attack, so they have like vast amount, but it's not infinite. Machina and Schreiber prayers, their cravings, both changed their very selves into other worlds. Since they were transcendence types, their influence on the current world was limited, but it wasn't entirely non-existent. They counted as the foreign entities and thus couldn't last long. Things would be different if they ascended to the stage that made them gods, but that wasn't the case, so they had their limits.
実に際どい天秤だろう。幕引きを使えなくなれば、お前は死ぬし。
Yeah. He paused and formed a smirk before continuing.
どの道数時間もすれば戦い自体が終わっている。
Well, you gave a long time period. Few hours. Okay. He lightly snapped his fingers, as if to shoo away a bug, making the dark prison, keeping Machina fly away like a bullet. Bye, Machina! It went towards the end of the visible sky, beyond the horizon. Okay, just in case. He just did it just in case, you know? Just in case if I'm wrong and he can like actually do something else, I will just like keep it on the side so he can like, you know, he can like surprise me. He's so afraid of Machina, no wonder. I mean, this guy can just like one-shot him. With that, Machina was forced to withdraw from the battle. Just as Ludwig had said, even if he returns, the battle will be long over. Not only that, but one of Gladsheim residents, Machina, shared his lot with Reinhardt. He was destined to vanish if his master faced defeat. Okay. Thus, no matter which angle you look at from, Nigredo had definitely dropped out of the fight, meaning that they'd lost of what might have been the only card they could play against Meduslaya. Schreiber was still attacking him, but then just like before, the damage he dealt was negligible. Beatrice was injured, while the rest were greatly fatigued. I don't know, you can... Yeah, Rusauka can also command shadows. But what is a shadow as not a darkness? Basically, Medusa is hard counter for Rusauka. She may like have her shadows, but Medusa is like, oh, these things, I just borrowed them to you. You know, they're mine actually. Rusauka had exceptionally bad compatibility with him, yeah. Her ward let her manipulate shadows, but when facing Medusalaya, doing so was nothing but suicide. Her actions were limited, and there was little she could do about the situation. Same went for Lisa, Spine, and Kain. Spine, come on, Spine can do everything. None had any means that would prove effective against such a fearsome foe. Yep, there's still Samuel. The one doing the most was Eleanor, and even she was only marginally better than Beatrice. She lit up the Dark Knight to minimize the damage to her side, but that was the most she could manage. Things might have changed for the better if she used her creation figment. Yeah, I was like wondering. But the risks that came with it were far too great. Not only did she have no proof that it would work, but she would also kill all her comrades. I guess so, yeah, because it's a huge area of effect and everyone will be cashed in. Yeah, true. That was the nature of her word, and though she never hesitated to use it if it was necessary, in this situation, it was pointless. Act akin to trying her own neck. Yeah, if you don't know if it works, it's not worth of like sacrificing all of your troops.
ということだ、ハイドリ。そろそろ自ら出張ってこい。部下の影に隠れるのがお前の波動でもない。
Wow.
それとも、すべてが屍にならねば、墓の王は気が入らん。
Then it shall be so. He added as he spread his wings and chanted. Okay, what are you chanting now? The obsidian tablecloths and fangs instantly readied themselves for whatever was to come, but nothing seems to have changed. As they began to think that we had failed, his arcane suddenly bore its fangs. What happens? What? Huh? How did they fix the LDO members in the Dies Irae? Mercurius resurrected them? I guess so? Rusauka's legs became assault and shattered. What? Why? How the darkness is related to changing things to salt? What? Then it was her fingers, arms, shoulders, all of it decayed and crumbled. God damn it, leave Rusauka alone! Why? Again, stop! Kill someone else for a difference. The abnormality spread in but a blink of an eye. Though the extent of it was different for each one of them. All of their bodies were falling apart. I'm so confused to what Methuselah just did. I'm so confused. How is darkness related to turning things to salt and decaying them? What? Even the horde of the dead that made up Gladsheim were starting to shatter at one side. Tanks and aircrafts began to rust and fall to the ocean while disintegrating. And to make it worse, the speed of this disaster only continued to increase. So everyone is decaying in different ways. How? Why? It was a total collapse. Annihilation was drawing near. Yeah, he's just like... Oh wait! Reinhardt have a crack on his cheek. Oh! One of the rare instances when we have damage on Reinhardt. Though Reinhardt was still as composed as he sounded, a crack had appeared on his cheek. It didn't do more than that to him, but evidently, not even he was free from the effect of the mysterious attack. That alone made it abundantly clear just how powerful a magic Ludwig was exerting. But what exactly was its nature, I have no idea.
さよう、メトシェラが歩んできた夜を高速で回している。あまりに早すぎるため自覚するのは難しいが、体は常に正直だ。
What?
通過が始まっているのだよ。
Besides passing the eyes, but he traversed immense speed. It's far too fast for us to be... I'm not sure what that means. Does it mean it's like in the sense he manipulates time, like he sped up a time or something? Like, you know, like day and night is like, you know, 24 hours, right? So he's just like speeding up the darkness and like, I don't know, shooting the darkness or something, and it's basically turned the clock really fast and everything is decaying because of the time passage. Is it another time, like, power? He can manipulate time with darkness? The obsidian table sought immortality and indestructibility, and that very fact meant that they yet to achieve it. At that point in time, not even Reinhardt was an exception. Though death didn't come to them easily, they would obviously break if they were forced to bear a great burden, such as an age's worth of time. So he can... Are you serious? How many people can manipulate time in this series? Ow. 2 millennia.
今2000年を超えましたな。そろそろあなた以外は限界だろう。まだ肉体面にしか作用しておらぬから耐えているが、哀れにも察してしまえばどうなるか。
自死衝動に潰されるか。確かにそうだな。気づけば魂が朽ち。
Okay, so basically, as long as they don't catch up, Mercurius can resurrect them later in the castle, right? Because it said like he can like resurrect all the little members, right? In this era.
まあ、私以外の者に部下を壊させるわけにもいかんのは事実。
And the crack is gone. Reinhardt stroked his chin upward. His hand momentarily hit the cracked cheek, and after he moved it away, the injury had vanished, as if it was never there in the first place. Okay. Then he glanced at Mercury, who didn't seem to be affected whatsoever. Yep, this guy is immortal, yeah, like, the time doesn't matter to Mercurius.
とはいえだ。私は欲張りなのだよ、カール。こうして戦に臨む以上、完全なる勝利を求めている。
というと、
つまり、先に一度話しただろう。メトシェラ殿を制すにあたり、取るべき方針についてだよ。
Either force him to adhere to your own logic, or make him scatter with all the might we have.
なるほど。ここであなたが前に出れば、後者を具現するしかなくなるな。もう一つは、ふさわしきものにやってもらうという。
Interesting. Mercurius acknowledged the idea, so the gold as the commander of his legend gave the decision.
完全に勝利するとは、ことごとくに勝つということ。
So he wants to both adhere to his own logic and scatter him with might?
私は両方取る気なのだよ。
Yeah.
すなわち。
どうした？未だ腰を上げる気にはならんのか、ハイドリ。お前もだ、水銀よ。私を消したいなら、自ら舞台に上がるがいい。
Upon hearing Ludwig's words, the two leaders of the table formed three greens, which seems to imply that they really wanted to do as he said.
ケイ、その前にやるべきことがあるだろう。
まずは恋敵と私有を決するのが筋ではない。
Your rival in love.
メトシェラよ。
That... Bay can't win this. Like... No? He found the word strange, hard to comprehend even. It made sense, but what it implied was impossible. Ludwig knew full well who he was referring to, but he couldn't see the meaning of acting on his words. The man in question had already perished. Not really. And even in the off chance that he did survive, there was nothing he could do so. Yeah, I'm confused as well, like... What do you mean, like... Huh? Like, that makes no sense. The moment he assumed he would mishear the words, a sudden storm of night-rending tones erupted towards him. There's Bay. Okay. I destroyed him, twisted him apart, tore him to pieces and pulverized him. Then I threw him away. If I had anything that could be called a fighting style, that was the best description for it. I trampled my enemies with all my might, leaving them as little more than undignified gore. I knew pretty damn well that I was being crude and brutish. I mean, by that point, I had a general idea of how normal people viewed things. What of it though? Sure, I didn't give shit about society standards, but I wasn't purposely trying to stray away from them either. If anything, it just so happened that my style fit a certain template. It definitely wasn't like I was just some brat trying to look cool by doing bad things. Also, Bay as well would be cashed up in like whatever Methuselah was doing with the knight, right? And Bay would crumble. Because he also have a time limit. It's not like he's like Mercurius or Reinhardt that he can like stand like several thousand millennia or something. Plot hole? That was just a matter of what I preferred and what I was good at. Going wild simply felt right to me, but I couldn't do things another way. It was something that had become a part of me during the nights I'd spent hunting cats and dogs. I believed it was normal for people to be good at what they were doing, and the reverse was true as well. I was good at fighting using my style. It gave me the best results, so I naturally came to enjoy it. Oh! I'm so confused. Did that somehow work on him, or He's just annoyed and pissed because Bey survived somehow. I think he's just pissed. I especially like trapping the mag of guys that pissed me off like the fucker before me. Hell, I could say I was pretty much born to do it.
Yo, またあったなクソったれ。ぶち殺してやるから面貸せ。
Roar, I unleashed a volley of stakes that pulverized his damn darkness. Thanks to that, the guy at the back were saved from the brink of death. If only Berline. Oh! Rusaka's alive! Thanks, Bey.
ああ、なんだてめえら。ちょっと見ねえ間にどいつもババッチクなりやがって。みっともねえから下がってろ。
Yeah, because like years just passed. Why it didn't affect you? That's what I'm curious about. Like, why you are not falling apart? What is happening? I had no intention of handing him over to anyone else. I'd returned the favor, and fuck, we just had a pretty damn weird connection. So the battle was mine to fight. I wouldn't take a no, or even give them the time to offer it. How is this fight even possible to happen? I'm extremely confused about this one. How is this even possible to happen? Like, nothing worked on him. And suddenly, Bey just magically, like, can damage him? Does it even do anything? I think like he's doing like nothing, and Methuselah is just pissed. But still, why he's not aging? Why he's not like... I'm confused. I broke the approaching jaws with my fist. Again, how? It's like pure darkness of like countless nights. How can your fist like... Huh? Even like, you know, batteries couldn't do this. I mean, you are like a creature of night, I guess. Maybe that's the reason? Did he activate his further degree? I don't think so. But in a sense, like, vampire natural environment is darkness. So I assume darkness doesn't work on Bey because he's like natural inhabitant of darkness? Is that why he can survive here? I think that makes the most sense. You can correct me in the comments. Or tell me what you think about this. I broke the approaching jaws with my fist. That blew away my arm, but it instantly regenerated. The same before him filled him with shock. As it was, his face was hard to read, but the confusion was still pretty damn obvious. It was a testament to just how taken aback he was. But I want to know, they did some weird shenanigans. What just happened? I think it's what I think. Like, he's like a natural inhabitant of darkness and he can just regenerate and stuff while he's in darkness. The more darkness there is, the stronger Bey gets. Because, like, a vampire gets stronger with the dark, right? And he could, like, activate for the degree, probably. I don't know. That's what I feel like that's the case. I didn't thought about this before, but now when it's getting all confused, I start thinking about this, and that's the only solution I can find. The eruption of the thorns. Thoughtfully covered in briar, I spun as I turned myself in the bullet and flew towards him, breaking his defense, like the battering ram, and charged him. It wouldn't have been a proper battle between us if it didn't start with this punch. I tried to get it in 3 times already and failed, but I was sure this baby would land properly. Okay. Also, how can he damage Methuselah if he can even damage him? Like, how? Like, what? Like, sure, like, you are like creature of night, you can survive in darkness, but I don't think you can damage darkness like that. I'm extremely confused. Extremely confused. I mustered all my strength and punched him with just a smash. My fist finally reached his damn fucking face. With the feeling alone, I could tell that it was heavy. He didn't sidestep it, or take it just for some sloppy act. Okay, that worked. In exchange for landing that one, about half of my body was eaten away by the dark fangs. Oh, okay. But like before, the ones instantly regenerated. Even if the damage was fatal, it didn't mean shit to me. Okay, that's some bullshit regenerative power. The gold soul were flowing in... Oh! Oh, wait, what? The gold soul were flowing into me and become my flesh and blood. This was a reward and blessing I'd received from Lord Heydrich, and I was told I'd last for that single battle alone. It would last for that single battle alone. Reinhardt is feeding him his legion? Wow! Fighting, like, using both principles as Reinhardt wanted. Make him to, like, bow to the principles that he has, and at the same time destroy him with all the might that he has. Okay. Now I'm not confused anymore. The Legion of Gladsheim was refilling me with a limitless supply of life. That was the sole reason why I was in such a good state, despite almost dying back at the cathedral. All my wounds disappeared instantaneously, and all my attacks were the strongest I could master. Because of that, I didn't even need any forethought. I bought all 8,000 souls I could store with me every hit I made. Both my defense and offense were on the whole different level. Sure, it was a limited reward, but I couldn't help but savor the taste of glory that would eventually be fully mine. After all, this was what it meant to be Einherjar. It was the privilege I'd get if I was summoned to Valhalla and became the part of Lord Heydrich. That was probably the reason why Samuel didn't eat all those many souls. She'd been planning to become the immortal champion since the very start, so she always rejected the souls she'd found trifling. She'd want to have a truly glorious formation made up of only the most worthy light. In her mind, bringing pathetic souls to Gladsheim was an act of the disloyalty. It was so like that. It was so like her that I could only laugh. Although I wasn't intelligent enough to do what she did, I knew a thing or two about pride, so I only do my best to meet their expectations. The process of linking me to Gladsheim took a while and made me late, and that was exactly why I had to make up for it by stealing all the most juicy scenes. Huh.
どれだけハイドリヒの支援を得ようが、貴様の器が浅いことに変わりはない。
だったらその浅い野郎とごぶってる今のてめえは何なんだよ。
What makes you? We passed each other and dealt immense damage. My side was pierced, while his arm was blown away. The parts that were ours mixed and whirled in the midair and vanished into the emptiness with the sound reminiscent of the death whale. A moment after, just as before, we both regenerated. This is just sick. Jesus.
下船 様ごときがなぜ私に触れられる。そこにどんな神秘があるという。
That is also like, even if like Reinhardt is like powering up. Actually, yeah, that's a good question. Arcane is involved. Sure. The microphone probably should be higher. Actually, it doesn't matter. Probably. Even if like Reinhardt is like supplying him with souls, that will only count for regenerating and attack power. But being able to touch darkness per se, and actually disperse it and damage it, how can he do that? I think that's why. I think this is just like to being part of the vampire, right? Maybe that's actually going to this part.
永遠の夜などと壊れた理想を追っている貴様ごときに。
だから
Okay, never mind.
教えるわけはねえと言ってるのがこのボケが。
So his attack is something entirely different. Why he can't touch him? Is it because he's a vampire? Like I said. He'd obviously realized that I had access to Glassham's soul supply, but that alone wasn't enough to harm him. As much as I resent the fact, it was true that my caliber wasn't that great. If slapping 8,000 souls onto this guy was enough to damage him, Schreiber would have been able to do it too, so this couldn't be it. If Methuselah could only be broken by quality, quantity and status, the only one among us who would be capable was Lord Heydrich, and it would be a battle of the kings, which wasn't something I could mimic. Of course I couldn't pull off Machina's feat either. As one who wished for eternal life, Wilhelm could never house the concept of end. You wonder why I could hit him then? Like I said, I ain't telling. God fucking damn it. Are we never going to learn this? Come on, come on. We have to learn this. Bey, this is an interview. This already happened. You have to tell us. Come on. Come on. Don't do this. At least not until we get to the point where the guy finally realizes it. Okay. Not until we get to the point where I get to ridicule his dumbfounded face and punch it real good.
痛えか痛えだろ
Okay.
嬉し涙流せやこら
I never sought anything high noble from battle. I punched and broke the marks of anyone I wanted and found it all refreshing. Sick high and all that shit. Because of that, I never held back. I went in and with all I had and killed with all I was. That was my very own form of chivalry. My path as a knight. My briars hold with more malice than the machine gun that moved down thousands. By the point, they were more like forests ravaging the Arctic. Anyone looking from the side would see nothing but madness. I didn't activate the Knight of Bloodstained Roses. Okay, so it's not activated, so he's not a vampire. Oh, that's Helga! Don't misunderstand though. Like I said, I was going all out. I wasn't underestimating him, and I had proper reasons for keeping it sealed. Interesting. Main purpose behind unleashing the Knight was to drain my surroundings and grow stronger. But since I had Gladsheim's support, I didn't really need it. Makes sense. But that also makes you a true vampire. So it changes your body, so that could be effective, right? In a sense, I guess. Additionally, making the Knight denser or fighting Ludwig was too risky. I was confident that it wouldn't be used. Against me, but still, with its main purpose already fulfilled, I just had no reason to unleash it. Okay. The third and the biggest reason was the fact that unleashing Helga's will wasn't a good idea, given the situation. What situation? Like I said, I ain't telling. God damn it! Just know that I had to wield this distraction with all my power, while at the same time doing some pretty delicate work. Okay, you doing delicate work. That's unusual. Basically, if I let out the core of my mind, everything could go to shit. Interesting. And so, I had to keep Helga in check. I had to take the fuel from Gladsheim and use it to wield her power without restraint, while also doing my best to prevent her from walking. And I tell you, it was like walking a damn tightrope. Ah. Why you really think Helga is a bad idea? Can someone tell me in the comments? I think I'm missing some key point here. What was the Helga's deal? Like, she tries to... What? I'm a little bit confused about this. I would like some clarification if possible. I would lead this battle toward victory. That was the conclusion I sought, and I was far more serious about it than ever.
できるものならやってみせろ。私はメトシェラ。あまねく貴様らノアの長だ。子に遅れを取る道理がどこにある。ましてや貴様のような危険。
Defect like you, okay? That's The defect is beating you somehow. I had no reason to let him finish a line that would probably piss me off, so I didn't. I bent all the muscles in me while making my body twist like a drum bow. I faced all my power into my next strike. Okay. So, what was the... my power into my next strike, okay. I wanted to become a blood-sucking demon, a murderous, tyrannical, ass-centric, and immortal phoenix of the night who rebirthed himself by draining the life of others. If you thought my craving was stale and that I had a mistaken upbringing, I didn't need his lineage or name. The barricade was the truth path I had to take if I wanted to be myself. My roots returned to ash. I'd done it once, and I would do it again. How does that work? Dark and dark clashed in the air. The impact produced no light. Our eyes could see a flash of the abyss. To my mind, it was good enough to be called a spark. The scattered darkness was taken by the gale and flew away like a stardust riding the storm. The still spinning eternal night was now focused exclusively on me. I had no idea how many thousands of years had passed by that point, but it didn't mean shit to me, even if it was over a fucking million. I would revive endlessly, even if my limbs crumbled and became dust. That was the vampirism I sought. I wouldn't and I couldn't die. I wanted to become something that lived on, no matter how many millions or billions of years went by. And even if the stars of the universe vanished. Okay. Another clash. The screams we unleashed didn't even constitute as words. Still, the sentiment within them was obvious. Condensed murderous intent. We broke and shattered each other, intertwining but not mixing. We bore our fangs with pride, as if fighting over who was the real darkness, the Methuselah among us. Damn right, it was me. I was the true ancestor, and he, whoever the fuck he was, a mere eyesore? As though overtaking the fragments of sound, torn and ripped apart, we fought boisterously while drawing a helix in the cracking atmosphere. We traced a huge tornado that had appeared and spewed upward, high enough to break the yoke of gravity, and still accelerated, becoming faster with every moment. if it was an option. The only one who'd ever won against me was Lord Heydrich. That was true at the time and wasn't changed for all eternity. To make sure that it remained so, I shattered him, regenerated, and broke him as I reached the victory and tried to pick up the scent of blood. Claudia, where are you? Yeah, I think like he absorbed Claudia, right? Methuselah absorbed Claudia or something. Okay. That was when it happened. Okay, he's screaming some serious incantation. Well, the hell is happening? Ludwig lost his temper and chose to use his arcane powers. The entire sky around us was shrouded in the dark aurora. It was a scene of overwhelming ruin, and it felt like a sign of the supreme calamity, like a tsunami that could sink the entire continent. I was certain that this harbinger of cataclysm was the ace up his sleeve, but now, wait. Hold on a second. Now? You're using formation? Are you telling me he was fighting in like activation? He's been like just activating his weapon and not formed it? Before? He's been fighting him on level 1? Huh? Didn't mean shit to me. I just snapped my fingers and grasped the proof of my victory. Okay. Oh. Oh. He just activated Dark Gift from within Methuselah. What? Was he like inserting his blood inside Methuselah and just like attacked him from inside? You can do this? You can... What? Ludwig absent-mindedly looked down at the shining briar growing out of him. Clearly he had no idea what just happened. Of course he wouldn't. It was a phenomenon that would happen out of his sight. It was just unlucky. That was exactly why it was such a strong trump card for me. A set of minor details stacked and made up a flow, attaining irreversibility as it headed towards the only possible conclusion. It was probably what Mercurius would say about it. It was easy to see Ludwig as an idiot who just got what he deserved. After all, it was impossible to expect the certain events. You can do this? What? They can activate his formation to his blood wherever it is. He's like, what? Huh? Okay. He seems to finally realize it was all just a blood pact. Despite donning the skin, the logic of the vampire, he took it lightly, which was what led to his defeat.
それでもあいつの中に混じったのは間違いねえ。
Okay. No matter how little of the keys of the dark she took, the fact remained that she'd taken my fangs inside her.
もちろん単にそれだけじゃ意味なんかねえ。だからどうしたって話だよ。ここで何より大事なのはてめえがクラウディアを崇め立てまつってるっつうことだ。
The light, the peerless sun, he defined Cloud as such, and that relation became permanent. It was just the result of all his smug talk about darkness being powerless before her.
わかるかおい。吸ったもんと吸われたもんには血のつながりができるんだよ。てめえがあいつに、あいつが俺に縦一本の線が通った。
And thus, through Claudia, I was able to counter Ludwig's attacks. That was the logic behind why I could match Methuselah, who had completely dominated the rest of the obsidian table. Oh my god. In a sense, I was fighting with Claudia's powers. She was also one of the reasons why I didn't use the Knighthood Blood Saint Roses. If Helga's consciousness had become too strong, the already faint blood pact would have been cut off. She hated Claudia, so she probably would have done it with a glee. Okay, I see. Okay, I see. So he's keeping Helga in check so he can maintain this connection. Love only me. Look only at me. We don't need anyone else. Anthologies. And if that happened, I wouldn't have won this perfectly winnable battle. I wouldn't have won.
だから俺はてめえがマジになる瞬間を待ったのさ。
He would call me shallow, and I had no idea just how much depth he had himself, but...
その時だけは芯が覗く。誰でも同じだ。変わる。
People those wielding magic and even gods were no exception.
そこを内から一突きされりゃ、どんな化け物でもイチコロだろうが。
Okay.
まして闇に対する光ならな。
With that, I revealed everything I had, which meant the end of this fast was near. I only went and explained the situation to set up about what would happen next. There was a line I really fucking wanted to tell him, so I raised my fist, ready to make him cry really good.
さっさと俺の女を返せやこら！
Okay. With those words, I sank my fist into his face, blew him away, and retrieved Claudia. Okay. Then?
見事だ。
Oh, hi.
ならば次は私の番だな。
Okay, Reinhardt just stopped Bey from continuing the fight. Okay, did he retrieve Claudia or not? Oh, we are going serious. Okay. Golden light overflowed as the universe compressed into a spear materialized, itself within Lord Hadrian's hands. It was true, the unquestionable manifestation of divinity, and it needn't be said where its tip was directed. Methuselah, the one said to be last arcane, it's gotten the better of him through logic, and Lord Hadrian, I'd gotten the better of him through logic, and Lord Hadrian to blast him away with sheer power. Hegemony kingship, the unwavering love of destruction. He'd absolutely outdone the enemy on both possible fronts. And thus...
完全勝利だ。
Okay.
いざ参るぞ。
Did we retrieve Claudia? I hope so. Not even millions of knights could withstand the direct all-destroying power. It was a light that seems to purge all the old law and give birth to a new world. Like a waterfall, the golden torrent washed away all the darkness. Ludwig screamed as he faded. He was no longer Methuselah. Everyone present felt the ancient arcane evaporate due to the blinding strike from the Holy Lance, leaving behind nothing but simple darkness. Eventually, they would only be shapeless, untalkative, unremakable aspect of nature. With this, the mysterious events that continued since Katyn would finally get some closure. Indeed, all that stuff was clearly over, but... Okay... Still trying to do something. A hand reached out from the light and grabbed my shoulder, or rather Claudia, who I held with my hands, okay?
まだだ。まだだ。まだ終わらん。光を返せ。私の伴侶を。貴様などには渡さない。てめえ。
Scene was earth-shattering in just how unbelievable it was. This guy was still alive, and not after getting done by me, but even after taking a direct hit on Lord Heinrich's Holy Lance. Then again, he might have already been dead. He just had the will and tenacity to let him reject his demise regardless. Let me tell you, that was the first time seeing other than Lord Heinrich or Mercurius made me feel fear.
渡さん。断じて彼女だけは貴様に光を奪わせはしない。させるものか。
What you gonna do?
させる。
He then mastered his strength, with power that greatly surpassed my expectations, and pulled me and Claudia and sent us trembling through the air. Okay. So he just threw us in the air. Okay. That's kinda normal. I expected him to do some weird shenanigans. We began falling, intertwined, the three of us, on the mercy of the gravity, and fell towards the surface. Oh, that's bad actually. We are not powered by Reinhardt anymore. Bey probably will survive if he fall. The problem is Claudia is the regular human, and that will kill her. So we have to somehow save Claudia in the situation, right? We eventually broke through the clouds, and I opened my eyes to see a vast cold wasteland, an expanse of snow and ice. I could only assume that it was the paradise he once talked about. We're on the North Pole, are you serious? But I didn't really give a shit. We were extremely high and went down stupidly fast. There was no way Claudia would survive the fall. Yep. I'd experienced fear for the third time in my life, just a mere moments ago, and then came the fourth. Yeah, it scared me. The idea that I would lose Claudia made me tremble with fear. Aww. Oh. Angela the Rosencrantz.
これはなかなか飽きさせぬ展開だな。
Okay.
むしろ王道というべきか。理屈で破れ、力で破れ。しかしまだまだ負けていない。最後に残ったのは男の矜持。つまり我々の見立てが甘かった。取るべき勝利は2本にあらず、3本あったというわけだ。
Hercules looked down on the scene while executing a air of irresponsibility similar to that of the member of the audience in a theater. Even if the situation was dire, he would say whenever he wanted despite not doing anything to help. Yeah, pretty much. This attitude of his was one of the reasons why he was so disliked by many.
さて、ならばどうされる？援軍でも送りますかな？それとも皆で見守りますかな？
必要ない。
Okay. After responding to the nonchalant magician, Reinhardt undid the formation of his lance and threw a glance downward before continuing his words in a disappointed tone. This is such a cool CG. Dispassionate tone.
我々のなすべきことはこれで終わった。あとは彼らの個人的な問題だろう。故に引き上げだ。 ベンも生きていれば戻ってこよう。完全勝利の是非についてはこのまま委ねることとする。今さら部外者の立ち入りは下世話というものだろうしな。
Hmm.
確かにそれはその通り。
Michael seems somewhat disappointed, but it was hard to tell how serious he was. Before they left, as Reinhardt ordered, he gave the man another question.
時にどうでしたかな、メトシェラは。
He'd asked whenever Reinhardt was satisfied. Mercury's tone contained a sentiment impossible to measure through words alone.
悪くない。
Not bad.
しかし予想を超えるものではなかった。
Yeah.
事実、基地も未だに晴れん。前座としては文句のない出来だったがね。部下のタガを締める役には立っただろう。
I mean to now fix our members basically, because they kinda got fractured, destroyed, and yeah.
今後、己がどういうものと相対するのか。怒りの人はどんな地平を目指しているのか。こたびのことで、そこを感じ取ってもらえれば、それで良いのだ。つまり、おおむね有意義な戦だったと表現できるな。
それは長女。ありがたきお言葉、妙利に尽きる。
Okay. Just on to the next one, and then the next. The end of the phenomenon they both fixed their eyes upon was far off in the distant horizon. They were already spending far too much time in the scene. They had to keep moving, never stopping no matter what.
ではひとまず戻った後はクリストフの
Oh, right.
問題を片付けますかな。
I almost forgot, yeah. They were like on their way to deal with Trifa. This is kinda hilarious how they just had a thought with like deity of darkness basically, and then they just like casually wander off to Christoph. Just like, yeah, hi, like, you know, just we're like a little bit late because we had some stuff to do, but not much.
そうしよう。あれはあれで、
Wow.
私に必要な男だからな。
Reinhardt looked down on his dying subordinate once more. His eyes were filled with love, and he blessed their future with naught but sincerity. He was dreaming of the ideal land of strife he would arrive upon after his eternity of destruction and battle. Okay. So we're falling down. And so the incompatible men somehow ended up cooperating, as I intentionally took to the exact same action. I guess they both tried to save Claudia, right, at this point. Wilhelm and Ludwig used the last of the remaining powers to protect Claudia, giving their all to soften her landing. And I think we'll land in the next episode. I will save the outro just in case. I don't know if I will record more today or not, but for now, that's it. So thank you everyone for being with me. That's probably 2 episodes I've recorded. I don't know if I will cut this or not. I will see. Maybe it's actually one longer episode. Maybe it is actually one longer episode, because I said I may do some longer episodes sometimes. Maybe I will just continue playing and you will not see this outro anyway. But anyway, awesome battle, like unexpected situation and appearance of Bey, just like attacking from inside via blood pact with Claudia, keeping Helga in check. These are like some stuff that I would never expect from Bey. So yeah. Also Bey could like feel the glory of being powered up by the gold himself. So that's also like pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, that's it for this battle, and we're going to see if they manage to save Claudia next time. Thank you everyone for being with me. Leave a like if you liked the episode, subscribe for more, check my Discord, and become a member if you'd like to support me and see these episodes earlier. Thank you once again, and for our Pocket Watch, let's go out.